Well, good evening, Little Masters, and welcome to what I had hoped would be the very first episode of today's Tolkien Times. I'm Alan, the man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony Podcast, and today's Tolkien Times is my way of bringing you a little Middle-earth every single day. Or it will be, starting next week. Monday, May 15th is the new launch date for today's Tolkien Times. I'm looking forward to it as much as you are, but I want to get this right for you. Now, as a reminder, here is what our weeks on today's Tolkien Times will look like. First up, on Mailbag Mondays, I'm going to answer listener questions, so send them in. Email your questions to barlaman@theprancingponypodcast.com. Just be sure to let Barlaman know that it's for today's Tolkien Times. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a pretty long line over at the PPP. Now, Tolkien Tuesdays will give us a chance to open up one of the many spectacular biographies of the professor, or to read one of his letters and get to know the man behind Middle-earth. Word Nerd Wednesdays are my way of honoring my longtime co-host on the Prancing Pony Podcast, Sean Marchese, the Lord of the Mark and the ultimate word nerd. I'll be taking a closer look at some of the linguistic mysteries of Middle-earth, from Old English and some of those obscure modern English words that Tolkien uses, to Quenya and Sindarin. Now, Third Age Thursdays are going to be fun. You're going to be seeing me reading passages and talking about the familiar stories of Middle-earth from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, the stuff that made most of us fall in love with Middle-earth for the first time. Might even include some deep dives into the stories behind the stories. Fandom Fridays I'm excited about. This is your chance to be a part of today's Tolkien Times. I want folks to see all the unique ways that we each can contribute to the Tolkien community. So if you're an artist or a musician or a content creator, a cosplayer, a fluent Elvish speaker, an academic, a book collector, or you do something else amazing or incredible or unique in or for the Tolkien fandom, I want to talk to you on the show. Now, again, for now, please use barlaman@theprancingponypodcast.com to reach out. I'm sure I'll set up some new email addresses down the line. Silmarillion Saturdays are going to be a little bit like Third Age Thursdays, except, well, older. I'm going to read a bit from a first or maybe second age tale, connect it to some other moment or moments in the legendarium, and we can just bask in the rich legends of the elder days together. Sundays? Well, that's when the Prancing Pony Podcast episodes drop, so be sure to listen to that on whatever podcast app you use. Now, throughout the week, I'm going to try to keep you up to date on the latest news about books, films, TV shows, video games, and anything else about Tolkien and Middle-earth. For breaking news, like the fact that Shelob is going to be in Season 2 of Amazon's The Rings of Power, you're going to want to follow my social media channels. On TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, we are at Tolkien Times. And on Facebook, just look for Today's Tolkien Times. Or you can visit TolkienTimes.com. Now, I hope you'll forgive the delay. It turns out that adding video to a podcast complicates matters greatly, and I really want to make sure the experience is top-notch across the board, no matter where you tune in to today's Tolkien Times. So be sure to join me next Monday, May 15th, as we launch today's Tolkien Times finally. Now, please, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, and if you're listening on a podcast app, be sure to subscribe to make sure that every episode gets downloaded to your device. Follow at Tolkien Times on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And in the words of my favorite character from The Lord of the Rings, go with the goodwill of all good men.